So this is more or less where you used to sit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just here, ironically.
Did everybody sit in the same place every week?
It was 1 to 11, wasn't it then? So it was easy enough to sort of know where you were, and then obviously the subs were down the bottom end. But yeah, Gordon, Nev, Gary, Bales, myself, Derek O'Waggy, Sharpie.
Sharpie tells me that when you were in here, you got a feel of how big the attendance was because you could hear the crowd.
Yeah, you could. Because obviously the change rooms were different, so it was a little bit more. There was more windows in there, I think, on the top, you know, so you could actually hear them before and after the match. And I see the little escape hatches still there. If we lost, you can get out a little bit quicker.
We needed that in the early 80s, didn't we?
Yeah, it certainly did. Yeah.
What was it like sitting in here at half time in the Bayern Munich game?
You know, just waiting for your instructions off your manager, really. And you know, his famous saying is that keep putting the ball in the box, and you know the crowd will suck it in. He did say that. We had this winning mentality anyway, didn't we? That we knew that we could beat anybody on our day, and I think what we couldn't believe is that we were 1-0 down. But I think second half we just went out there, and I think everybody just, you know, although we were giving 100%, I think we just rolled our sleeves up and gave another 100%, and that was too much for the Germans in the end.
It must have been terrific to walk into this dressing room knowing that you were going to win the game.
That's not just that game. I think it was many a game, you know, that you're going into. I remember going into one game, and I think in the first 6 minutes, I think we're playing against Notts County, and John Chidozie scores. And, you know, you just look around and say, how's that happened? But you just know that you're going to win it. It's just by how many.
Of course, in your day, there was no going out to warm up. 45 minutes before the game, was there? You just...
Yeah, well, there was. Yeah, there was a warm-up. It was entirely up to yourself. Me, for one, I never used to warm up. My warm-up was a hot bath, a few stretches in the changing room. It was only later on in my career, when I was getting older, that I felt that I needed to warm up a little bit better.
Yeah. What was it like walking down the tunnel as the captain? Was there any banter with the opposition? Did you have to get into them, or?
You didn't walk out together, you never shook their hands.
The Wimbledons of the world, for example.
Well, you wouldn't want to shake their hands, would you? You'd most probably have it bitten off or something if you did, but...
Tell us about what happened with the ghetto blaster that they brought.
Oh, I think Nev, yeah, it was on then. I think Nev booted it. And we beat him, and I think he just booted it as he walked past. It was on top of a bin. But that wasn't until later on. You know, he wasn't like that earlier on in the early 80s when he first got on. But
he had to go out on loan for a bit, didn't he?
Howard sent him out on loan to Port Vale. About 2 months later, maybe come back. I'm not too sure how long he was away. He'd come back, and it was a different Neville. And maybe that personality needed to be brought out of him, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Because, I mean, he was just one hell of a goalkeeper. I love playing with him. You know, he was just top
Never
draw.
ruled with him, surely.
No way. I fought really hard not to even take him down. I begged him to get a driving licence so that he could travel on his own down for the Welsh games. But I used to take him. But we used to have some fun there, Nev. I love the guy. I mean, we I always used to question him before and after games and half time. You know, maybe could you have come for that? You know, I'd always put something in his head that could he come for it. But Nev was Nev. You know, he'd say things to me, but we never took it to heart. We always sort of, you know, learnt from it or try and better ourselves from whatever each other was saying to each other.
There's very much a feeling amongst the punters, Kev, that we'd already won that tournament by beating Bayern Munich. Did you guys feel the same?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the hardest part of the job was getting to the final. Once you're at the final, it's not a formality, but it's one of them that we should win it. And I think the mentality of the lads, and it just seems to be one of them that whatever the opposition could do, we could just up our game and go again.
What's that all about?
Well, it looked quite good on the day. And when being Welsh, you can get away with that.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't think anybody has a clue where it is.
Really?
I don't think anybody has a clue where that has ended up. And I don't even think Nev. So he's most probably cleaning his windows with it the next day, wasn't he? But it's one of them mysteries of the game, really. This was one when you come to the football club as an apprentice that you want to be on this wall.
Right.
Yeah, that was your aim. Get on this wall. Fortunately for me, I've been on it maybe a decade, from 80 to...
A few black and white ones.
A few black and white, no, there's no black and white ones of me, mate. We did have colour then, and electricity. But no, you look at it and you're going back to, Dixie Dean and that, and T.G. Jones and people like that. You're going back, seeing that, further down the line, you're on it. And I think it was a great honour.
It must have been terrific for your dad to see his lad lead the team out.
Yeah, I mean, himself and his 3 brothers used to come. They had season tickets from about 66, 67 onwards.
Did he go to Wembley and all the big games?
He went to all the big games. He wasn't going to miss them with the rest of the family. So I think that was a story one year that we got to our first Wembley appearance, and he booked a 52-seater to go. And I turned around to him and said, "Have they all got tickets, Dad?" And he says, "No, you'll be able to get them, won't you?"
One of the more bizarre duties for a captain in those days, you're telling me, Kev, was sorting out the Players' Lounge tickets for the boys.
It was a big thing, the Players' Lounge, for the families and friends and everything. And I had this little stamp and the tickets, and I used to, after sort of every Friday night, do about, I think anything, about 90, something like that. So you can imagine then I'm doing them.
Actually physically stamp them?
Stamp them and then put them in envelopes. It's just one big ball ache, to be fair.
Did the opposition players used to come into the Players' Lounge?
They could come in, and depending if we got tickets at their ground for the lounge, then they got tickets. But if they didn't give us tickets, they didn't get tickets.
There was no afters though, was there, in there?
No. It was a friendly lounge, and we did have to pay for out of our own money, by the way. This was the lads. We used to have a £1 a week for the lads to actually put a doorman on. That doorman was Dave Ash, who was the janitor at the football club for many years, especially when I was there anyway.
But nothing got past him, did it?
Nothing got past him. He would have made a really good centre-half or goalkeeper.
That side of the game's changed and probably will never come back, Kev. Opposition teams having the beer after the game.
Yeah, it seems to be that they'll get on and they'll have whatever, energy drinks or water or whatever, and then even a pizza now I think they have, don't they? I'm not too sure what the regime is. I mean, I remember, dietary requirements in our day were, 12 o'clock, you'd see people having steaks or Dover sole. It actually stopped under Howard. He just turned to me and said, "What do you have for pre-match? I've noticed you don't have steak." And I said, "Oh, look, I just have beans and poached egg on toast." Right, if you're having that, so can everybody else. And I don't think that was dietary. I think that was more how much it was costing.
Well, it's been a pleasure to show you and your family around Goodison Park, Kev, and thanks for taking time out to speak to us.
Oh, cheers, it's been, thanks very much, because I think it's, like I say, my dad hasn't seen this since I played, and obviously the kids haven't. I think my eldest has been on the tour, but it's been good for them as well. Thank you.